Am I the a-hole for not telling someone they ate spoiled meat? For context, I live with 2 other adults, and I do almost all the cooking and most of the cleaning. Last week, we had some meat in the fridge that I meant to put in the freezer so it wouldn't spoil, but I forgot. By the time I remembered, I thought it would maybe be okay, but it wasn't. It was just slightly past its prime, but I didn't realize it until after it already cooked and eaten a few bites. Yeah, it smelled a little odd, and some of the pieces were more tender than they should have been, but I brushed it off. One of the housemates and I decided we'd give them to my family's dog, who lives 20-ish minutes away, so as not to completely waste them. They were hidden at the back of the fridge in a grocery bag. Bear in mind, they were left in the fridge for another week after that. The other housemate comes in, finds them, smothers them in gravy, and eats several of them. She usually complains about every single dish I make, but not this time. Either she doesn't like the way it's seasoned or she thinks the meat is too tough. It's tender because it's spoiled. She gladly ate piece after piece for multiple days. I honestly didn't think she'd eat more than one. They weren't so spoiled that they could make you dangerously ill, but just spoiled enough that you could certainly taste it. It's the one thing I've cooked that she didn't complain about, so I decided not to say anything. Edit. It was already digested when I found out. The other guy told me in the hallway when I woke up in the middle of the night to get some water. It was kinda too late. She can't uneat it, and it was hidden and tightly wrapped, clearly not meant to be touched. I'll admit that I probably shouldn't have given it to the dog, but we forgot to drop it off anyway, so I had plans to throw it away within the next day or two. She just happened to beat me to it. After the first piece was gone, the bag wasn't visible, and the gravy-soaked meat had been left at room temp overnight, which is already dangerous, so I thought the bag had been thrown away, and she was going to throw the meat on the stove away. She had just re-hidden that bag elsewhere and ate the overnight meat anyway. I didn't know until after the fact that she'd been continually sneaking and eating it day after day because I also saw her buying fast food for her dinner. I guess it wasn't enough though. Another edit. I think she didn't complain because she thought she got away with eating other people's food. Am I the a-hole for telling my sister you are selfish and canceling her engagement dinner at my place? I have a younger sibling and it seems like I am always helping her. In college I would help her with essays. I would listen to her problems. If she got stuck somewhere I would go and pick her up. She is 24 now and it has got pretty clear that she doesn't reciprocate helping out. Or does any favors for family. My brother and I have both noticed it. I had a conversation with her about it and she said she would do better. Recently she asked if I could use my house to her engagement dinner and I agreed. It was a big favor in my opinion and I have been helping plan it. My sister lives very close to my kids' daycare. I left work and on the way home there was a huge crash on the highway. I wasn't moving at all, it took me 4 hours to get to home. My husband was also stuck in it. The daycare called asking where I was and I told them I am trying to get there. They bill an extra 100 every 30 minutes you are late. I called my sister and asked her to pick up the kids and just hold on to them for a few hours until I can grab them. She told me no and that she wanted to relax tonight. I told her I really need her to do this favor because I was stuck and it didn't seem like I would be moving anytime soon. I told her I will Venmo her the money for the daycare but to please pick them up. She told me no again and hung up. I ended up calling my mill, who is an hour away, and she was able to pick the kids up and stay at our place until we got back around 9. I was in traffic for 4 hours. TBH, I have been pissed since that happened last Thursday. I have helped her over and over again and she could do me a simple favor when she is literally 10 minutes away from the daycare because she wanted to relax. I talked it over and my husband and I both agreed we were done helping her. I sent her a text that said, family is supposed to help each other and it has become clear that she only ever wants help and is not willing to help. I told her I will not be hosting her engagement party and will not do her any favors anymore. She called and we got into a huge argument where I called her selfish and she called me petty. I want an outsider's opinion because I am pissed about this whole thing. Would I be the a-hole if I ask mother-in-law to watch our dogs while I give birth, but not our kids? I, 34F, am due to have our third baby in the next few weeks. My mother-in-law, 72F, already assumes she'll be taking our kids, 4M and 3M, when I go into labor, and loves to brag about it. Part of it is that she loves them of course, but the other part is that she loves the attention and recognition of being needed. Aside from that, every time our kids are around her it's like they forget how to behave completely and the following 1 to 2 days are nothing but tantrums. She won't discipline them at all. Excuses bad behavior with things like, it's probably just the weather, and lets them do literally just whatever they want, including way too much screen time. Simply said, our kids wear the pants when they're with her. The thought of navigating the first few days postpartum and newborn life at home with my older children in tantrum mode honestly just stresses me out. Not only that, but she lives 45 minutes away, is a terrible driver, and has an unfenced pool in her yard. I'm worried about having her come to pick them up and bring them back to her house knowing that, and not watching them close enough to keep them safe from the pool. She's also in her 70s and doesn't move very quickly, but at the same time we already live an hour away from the hospital, so to bring them to her, move car seats over, and then go to L&D would take 2 hours minimum anyway. It would also be an option for her to come to our home and stay with them here, but to be honest, it just stresses me out to think about coming home to have her not leave for hours and the house be a wreck on top of it. She never has them clean up, and as thoughtful as it is, she'll do things like wash my dishes and then put them in the most random places, and half the time on shelves I can't even reach, and it takes me forever to find anything in my own kitchen. We're leaning more on the side of having our kids stay with our best friends who live much closer and they would have a blast with, without the tantrums to follow. But if we did that, we would still ask mother-in-law to take care of our dogs, since I wouldn't want to over-ask our friends for help, and mother-in-law has watched them at her house before when we've gone out of town. I'm not sure how to go about that conversation with mother-in-law though in explaining why we don't want her taking the kids for those days, and am worried she'll be offended by asking to take the dogs but not her grandkids. So, would I be the a-hole if I ask my mother-in-law to watch our dogs while I give birth, but not our kids? Edit to add. Because I've had to explain this so many times already, I just wanted to add that we've never discussed with mother-in-law a plan for her to watch our kids. Because it was never part of our plan. She just assumed that she would be and has been telling others, which is how we found out about it. Because helping is always an important thing to her, while we could do something else with the dogs, we feel it might lighten the blow a bit to at least have her help in some way rather than not at all and her feel completely excluded. This is the only reason I mentioned her loving to be recognized, needed. Not because I don't like her. I love my mother-in-law and am just trying to navigate the best way to not leave her with hurt feelings while at the same time not coming home to a chaotic environment after freshly giving birth.